Welcome to this presentation. As we address the topic of teaching social skills and improving social relations for our students who receive special education, we can focus on the 4 Ps in terms of creating an environment that is positive and conducive to student success. We can start by talking about self-esteem. Sometimes children with low self-esteem will puff themselves up to appear larger than life to compensate for their low feelings of self-worth. Other times they blend into the background and fly under the radar. There's no one sign that determines low self-esteem. Children with low self-esteem will typically receive a compliment and then do an inappropriate behavior because the compliment does not match how they feel on the inside. Children have to prove they are as bad as they feel about themselves on the inside. So how do we raise self-esteem? Consider 4 areas that need improvement: public relations, proficiency, power, and philanthropy. If we take care of these 4 quadrants in a child's life, we can change academic achievement and behavioral issues. Many students are far behind in academics because they have spent so much time out of class being dealt with for inappropriate behavior that it takes a little longer for the academic change to occur. So if children with low self-esteem cannot take a compliment, how do we build them up to look good in front of their peers without holding them up and having everyone clap for them? How do we make up for lost learning time by adding proficiency skills to the repertoire? And how do we give them power over their emotions? How do we build philanthropy into the day? As educators, we need to determine ways we can help the child look good in front of their peers. Here's an example. Set up the secret agent game. Tell the students you have chosen someone to be the secret agent in the classroom. You will be watching the secret agent all day, and if the secret agent is respectful of their self and others and property, or whatever you want to focus on, that person will get to select 5 free answers for tonight's homework, or a prize of your choice. Free answers meaning 5 answers you give them that they don't have to complete. The whole class won't have to complete. So at the end of the day, if the student you are focusing on does not exhibit those behaviors, just say, "I'm so sorry, today's secret agent didn't cut the mustard. I'll choose someone different to try tomorrow." However, if the student you are focusing on was anywhere near the behavior you were wanting to see, say, "Class, I would like you to know that Taylor was the secret agent today, and Taylor did a great job of exhibiting respect to others' self and property. Taylor, please choose 5 problems for me to give the answers to for tonight's homework." This technique helps the student look good in front of their peers. Other thing that you could do is wait for a good day and let the student of focus make a positive phone call home or send a note home about behaviors the student of focus does well. You can also let the student of focus be a peer model or helper for children in lower level classes or students who are struggling with a topic the student of focus does well. Another option of using a secret code, you could just let the student have a student secret code so they know if their behavior is inappropriate. I spy someone sitting up straight and tall, and I would then say, "You just earned the class a compliment point." My always looked in the general direction, but not at any one student. That way, there were 8 students who swore I was talking about them, and as soon as I saw the target student doing the appropriate behavior, I would look specifically at that child and say, "I spy someone sitting up straight and tall. You just earned the class a compliment." I didn't say the student's name, but everyone sitting around them knew exactly who earned the points. Compliments were points that accumulated to a magic number that earned different rewards, like free time and less homeworks and things like that. You might privately tell them that you know they're good at technology, and so you want them to run the technology for the day while you work with class. This can help them look good in front of their peers without verbally pointing out the situation. Another choice might be to have the student be your secretary at the board, so there's no chance of failure because you're telling them what to write. This way they look good in front of the class. Many times when I sit on a behavior support team and I hear about behaviors the student of full focus is having, and the antecedent for the behaviors is specific academic task, I will ask, "Can the student proficiently work at this level?" I'm surprised by how many people say, "I think so." We can easily do an academic assessment to determine in what skills a student needs a booster shot. You can pre-teach the anticipatory set for each difficult lesson that will help the student feel confident so that they can handle the problems that follow. The anticipatory set is the action the teacher does to hook the children on the lesson. For example, if you were going to be teaching students a science lesson on the distance between the sun and the earth, you might get them excited to learn by asking them, how many Snicker bars would it take to go between the earth and the sun? Then you could pass out a Snicker bar to each student to have him measure the Snicker bars with their rulers. Now you have their attention. Then you do the entire math using the overhead calculator or the smart board and the calculator on the computer. So, in order to use this strategy, you would have taught the student a focus the day before that there were 93 million miles between the sun and the earth, and that there were 5,280 feet in 1 mile. And this would help the student feel like he or she was able to handle the task. You can also just look at previous assessments and determine what the skills the student is lacking. And you can do whatever it takes to get them caught up. And also remember that we don't know what we don't know. Think about that. A student may not know what everyone else sees, what they don't get. So we need to help them figure out how to use their metacognition to understand how they're thinking and think about how they're thinking. And also give them some tips of the hidden language of what other people know and do that maybe they're not picking up on. You can give the student the power to handle their emotions. We can teach students what we do when we are upset. For example, I share a story with students about a time I was waiting for a parking place. I had my turn signal on and waited while a mother loaded her children in the car, and as the car was backing out and blocking my entrance to the space, another car whipped in the other side and took the space. The lady laughed as she walked into the store. I would have gotten mad, but whenever I'm upset, I listen to music. So I went to the farthest row and I listened to my favorite song on my radio. Then I walked into the store and I made sure I did 3 good things to make up for the bad karma. I picked some items that had been knocked off the floor. I helped a woman shorter than myself get something off a top shelf, and I let someone with less groceries go in front of me in line. So whenever I have something bad to me, I try to do 3 good deeds to make up for the bad thing. Feel better when I do something for others. You can also teach students some simple yoga exercises to calm down. Some examples might be to put your tongue behind your 2 front teeth, close your mouth, breathe in through your nose, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out through your nose, 2, 3, 4. And repeat that 10 times. You can teach another strategy, which is to take off your shoes and wiggle your toes. And this creates a calming activity. You can put 4 fingers on your forehead. Tap each finger individually against your forehead while looking up with your eyes. Repeat that twice. And it moves different synapses to different areas of the brain, and the urge to be upset will dissipate. Teach students to think how to go through the plan and what to do next the next time they get upset. I know you learned in the characteristics course about Rick Lavoie's coined term, the social autopsy. This means the student will dissect where the behavior fell apart and what they can do next time to keep the interactions alive. Lastly, we can consider philanthropy. One of the best ways to build self-esteem in a child is to have him or her help someone else. It's just not possible to feel bad about yourself when you're doing something good for someone else. A student can be a peer model for a life skills class or a lower grade level, or even be a custodial helper. As long as the job is of value to someone else, it will help the child feel better about him or herself. So these are the 4 P's, and when you put them together, you have a child who prospers. This presentation is attributed to L. Rifle, 2011.